Many people now seem very scared of a line, and that's why I draw the line. You can be scared of lines. Let me talk about this, and let me talk about the fact why I think that there is absolutely nothing to worry about. Let me already tell you, it's very easy at this stage of the market to be bearish. And crypto is not about rewarding those who take the easy route. Okay, so I am pretty convinced that the max pain is gonna be that people think it's over, they figure the cycle out, and I'm gonna leave nicely in time, and then the market runs without them. So let me tell you what's going on right here. And I'm gonna do some name dropping right here, and people not gonna like that, but I honestly think that this is really important right now. So welcome to the Fomo Factory. Like the video if you like the video, and to be honest, I just shot this video, but I thought like, nah, I'm missing a key argument. Let me redo the whole fucking thing, and I'm gonna make it faster as well. So we are all fixated on the 50 weekly moving average, right? Why? Well, if we get too close below it, then it is over, right? It is. It is. Why? Benjamin Cowen said so. Yeah. If he never said it, you would not like have thought about it even, right? That's how it is. The problem here is that it's not true. And I'm about to show you a couple examples. And if it is true, then bears are even more fucked. This sounds very confusing, but let me show you, because it is very easy to look at one line and be like, well, yeah, I mean, we closed below it right here, and it was a bear market, and we closed below it right, and we closed below it right here, and it was a bear market, so if we close below it again, it's a bear market. Yeah, and in 2013. Okay, all nice. But there are a couple problems with that, and like, it could be, guys, that it is over, but it's kind of nonsense to expect it right now, and I'm gonna give you 3 reasons, maybe even 4, why. Okay, number 1, it's just 3 data points. Okay, 3 data points in crypto sounds like, wow, if it happens 3 times, then I'm betting my whole fucking house, my wife, my kids, my kidneys, my dog, my everything on it, that it will happen again. Then again, it's just 3 data points. Okay, you know also why crypto may have topped out at the end of the post-halving year every single time, because the business cycle topped out there, right? And I don't know, call me crazy, but crypto following the business cycle and liquidity makes, in my opinion, a little bit more sense than where the fuck is everything. Makes, in my opinion, a little bit more sense than saying, well, now it just follows astrology. Like, why? I don't know what happened here to my lines, but you can see right here, business cycle topped out, Bitcoin topped out, here, Bitcoin topped out, and here, Bitcoin topped out. So that already shows me like, okay, saying that there is something like crypto seasonality, it's kind of nonsense, in my opinion. So that it has to top out right now because it closed below a certain line 3 times, that's a dangerous guess, actually. Because you have to understand, therefore making this content, I'm not even making this so you can get rich with altcoins. It's more that people who think that it's wise to now be bearish are probably the ones that are going to get wrecked, because they think it's over. And like I said, then it turns out not to be over because, and then they jump in at the highs and then get wrecked and lose money anyway. Okay. So being bearish, especially on alts right now, that's the risky part now in this stage of the market, right? Being bearish on altcoins at the lows of the dominance right here, yeah, that's not risky, right? You know that the dominance probably gonna go up. But being bearish at the highs, why are you gonna be bearish or bullish? Like, I don't understand why you should do that. Anyway, reason number 2. It's not true that every time we close below the 50 weekly moving average that was coming a bear market. We saw it in 2019, we saw it in 2020, and we saw it all the way back in 2012. So, okay, we closed below it 3 times, that sent us into a bear market, but we also closed below it 3 times that did not send us into a bear market, but in a full-on bull market. So therefore, I have a little problem. But I'm definitely, like, I'm not saying, like, don't keep this in mind at all. Consider it, keep it in mind. But there are also a lot of people that say, if we close below it, it is over. And that is retarded, because you cannot, like, see this and be like, well, it is, it will, it's certain, it's a guarantee. There are no guarantees in this market. If you think that there are guarantees, whether up, down, so whatever, it's gonna wreck you. It is gonna wreck you. Then there's another cool thing that we haven't really thought about. And then I'm gonna get into the part, well, what if it closed below it, and why that is still very bullish. But that's also what nobody seems to tell you. It's only about Bitcoin and the potential downside. Yeah, it's something to consider. That's half of everything that we should consider, right? But where's the other half? But if you look, for example, at the total crypto market, excluding Bitcoin, ETH, and stables, the total 3ES, so the altcoin market. Let's go here. 50 weekly moving average, right? We were in bull, right? When we broke above it, we were in a bull, right? Got close to retesting all the time, far above it. It's just a bull market, right? We closed below it. It was over. Yeah. Here, we went above it. And it was basically the breakout from the whole accumulation range. And we just went up, even in this big correction, close to it, bounce. When we broke below it, we still had a couple retests, and we went down. So you could see that on this chart, it's super accurate as well. And let's go to this market right now. This is already showing like, hey, that 50 weekly moving average is maybe like in the past, it was very accurate. But hey, I don't know. We closed below it already multiple weeks from like August 2024. That was like half a bull market ago. Like that wasn't over. Look, like we're still going. So this chart already shows like, okay, it could be as accurate as you want in the past, but at a certain point, it doesn't mean shit anymore. Because crypto moves at a different pace. And these moving averages, yeah, they change with that, right? So for the next bull market as well, as Bitcoin goes up slower, we will get to that 50 weekly moving average more often and go after more below it and above. And that's exactly what the altcoin market is already doing, as that's following Bitcoin, right? So it's not moving as fast as Bitcoin. Yeah, and then you see what happens. So if we stuck to the whole idea like, well, if we close below it, it's over. Yeah, then you should have panic sold in August 2024 already. So this shows to me like, wow, on this chart, it's already invalid. But now we're saying like, well, it won't be invalid on Bitcoin's chart. Like, I'll be a little careful with that. But still, let's say we all did not see this. We haven't found this information. We don't know about it. And we stick very stubbornly to, no, we close below it. It is over. Okay, now it's where it gets interesting. Let's zoom in on the daily. And let's change it to the 350. Same as the 50 weekly moving average for those who wonder. There you go. Get a little bit more information, right? So if we look at Bitcoin right now, and I hope that every pussy out there that's constantly all day in every Telegram chat only whining about 50 weekly moving average, show him this video, buy some tampons, like chill out. It's like not the end of the world, okay? So if we zoom in on Bitcoin, we're struggling with it right now, right? Other than that, like Bitcoin doesn't really test it like that often, right? We tested it like once, 2 times, 3 times, and now number 4, right? In this whole freaking bull market. So for Bitcoin, it's not even such a relevant moving average to begin with. You know where the moving average is more relevant? On the Bitcoin dominance. So if we are gonna assume that if we close below it, despite what we just saw, it will be over, cool. Let's not be a hypocrite about it and also look at what else it applies to. And if I look at the Bitcoin dominance, this looks a bit more accurate to me than Bitcoin, right? Because here, Bitcoin dominance was going up, right? We fell, bam, bounced perfectly, up, fell, bam, bounced perfectly again, up, broke it, had a perfect retest, and after that retest, it had the second leg of falling. And then, when we started to go up again, we had that big exchange scam liquidation event, right? And there was a huge, beautiful wick, all nice. But even during that day, it did not close above the 50 weekly moving average. It didn't. The next day it tried again, and then it got rejected again. And now we tried again, and it got rejected again. If anything, we should apply the 50 weekly moving average on. It's the Bitcoin dominance, not Bitcoin, right? Because assets themselves, such as I just showed, Total 3ES, that already showed invalidation all over the place. Like the whole cycle, it was already invalid, right? Same case could just be for Bitcoin. However, for the Bitcoin dominance, we just saw a couple days ago that it's still working, right? It still got rejected by it, still. So in that case, I feel like, okay, if we stick to the idea that below the 50 weekly moving average is a bad thing, then what can you expect alt season? And I don't want to pull up every single chart to find a way where I can see an alt season happen, but how do you not see it here, right? I think that a lot of people are now really focused on downside only. And again, it's good to be cautious, you should, definitely. But there's these days a thin line between cautious and bearish. And I think there are too many people that say it will be over if, that will wreck you eventually. And this already shows okay, if we stick to the idea of the 50 weekly moving average, no matter what, then you better get your ass out of Bitcoin into altcoins right now, because that Bitcoin dominance already shows this is going to tank anytime soon if it depends on the 50 weekly, right? Also, the Bitcoin dominance has kind of always been a front runner of Bitcoin. Because if you look back in history, then you can see, let me put it on the weekly real quick, Bitcoin dominance goes down at a certain point in a cycle, right? So if you stick to seasonality, be bullish on alts. But anyway, Bitcoin dominance went down already here actually. But here the Bitcoin dominance tanked and Bitcoin followed that. Right? You can see it on the daily even better if we go to that time frame, because we first had the top for Bitcoin in 2017, and then altcoins on the Bitcoin pair, they were falling. Also in 2021, if you look there, you can see that the Bitcoin dominance already started to fall, and then Bitcoin started to fall. Now, the Bitcoin dominance is already getting multiple rejections by the 50 weekly moving average. And now Bitcoin finally is starting to just test it for the first time since a long period. So I'm don't be bullish or bearish too soon just because there is one line, because hey, maybe we forget to apply that line on another chart, right? And then it's not actually that bad. The Bitcoin dominance kind of is leading what Bitcoin is doing, right? So even if Bitcoin now goes into a bear market, because everything I just showed was apparently a bug by TradingView, and it's not like that, whatever, I don't know, a little passive aggressive, but it's true. Even then, you can also look at the Bitcoin dominance and be like, well, time for altcoins to outperform, I guess, right? Because what we also know is that if we go to the alt season chart and look, I like Ben's content a lot, but he is very biased on about alt seasons, right? And people could say yeah, so far he has been right. For the last year, he hasn't been right or wrong, right? It was supposed to go to 0.25. Well, yeah, since August 2024, it's now at the same level. It never went to that level, right? So whether you called for an alt season or no alt season, we're all just as right or wrong about that, right? But people like him a lot for, being cautious, and that played out a lot. But the problem is that even all the signs are there, he still won't admit it. Because I also hear him say a lot like, well, before an alt season, Bitcoin should go to new all-time highs. And every video I'm like, okay, explain why. And then he jumps to the next subject. And I'm like, huh? But look, as far as I see it, right, this is the alt season chart. And maybe he sees it different because he doesn't really look at altcoins. He looks at altcoins plus stable coins, right? That total 3 minus USDT divided by Bitcoin. And that's all nice. But if you look at the stable coin market, right, then you can also see that, yeah, stable coins have been going up quite hard, right? Stablecoin dominance up hard. So, yeah, like adding stables to it nowadays makes a huge difference if you try to look at altcoins or not, right? You're not only looking at altcoins. But anyway, if we look at the alt season chart, right? Total 3 minus stables on the Bitcoin pair. When did alt season start? Here, alt season started on a 30% Bitcoin crash. Here, alt season started, right here, on the blow off top of Bitcoin. Bitcoin already went into a bear market. Altcoins had their own bull market. And then they went together with Bitcoin in the bear market. So I'm like, even if Bitcoin will top out right now, because it doesn't apparently follow the business cycle again, right? The business cycle doesn't mean shit or whatever. Sentiment also, TA, nothing, doesn't matter. But even if Bitcoin goes into a bear market just because it's November, I'm like, we could still have an alt season, right? Because in the last 2 markets, and it's also not a lot of data, but yeah, it's all we have. Alt season never started when Bitcoin was making new all-time highs. Never. Bitcoin was in either a bear market or a 30% correction. Right? So that makes sense to now look at the Bitcoin dominance and be like, yep, Bitcoin dominance is already struggling with the 50-day, 50-week. So I think that it's good to keep everything in mind. But again, it's very easy to be either very bullish or very bearish. And for now, a lot of people, they have been wrecked with altcoins. And it is the end of the post-halving year, where Bitcoin normally topped out, because the business cycle topped out right there, which now it didn't. That makes it very easy for people to say like, well, yep, it's over, we go down. But again, crypto doesn't reward the easy route. Crypto doesn't do that. So keep in mind that it's very easy to be bearish. And in certain periods of the market, it is very easy to be bullish. And I see everybody, including the biggest YouTubers, only look at one side of it, right? Only one side. Look, I know you know that my bias is leaning towards bullish based on what I see. But I also try to look at, okay, what is not potentially bullish? I don't find a lot, actually. So maybe I'm going to be fucking wrong. Maybe. So keep that in mind. Don't put your money on where my mouth is. But I just want to show you, like, okay, everybody talks about that moving average now. Let's apply it on a chart that it makes more sense on. Oh, no, we're not going to like look at that. We're only going to look at that because otherwise it doesn't confirm our bearish bias. Nah, let's be fair. Let's look at all of them. Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, so that could mean that Bitcoin could go into a bear market and that altcoin season will begin. That means it, right? If Bitcoin goes down and the Bitcoin numbers goes down. Well, it makes sense. That's what we needed in the last markets for altcoins to run. So it's not weird. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know down below your opinion on this. And I'll see you in the next one.